right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We're about to get started today. So I did want to first of all thank you for attending Talent Quest's webinar on talent intelligence today. My name is Dina Quassett Campbell, and I'm a member of the communications team here at Talent Quest. We're excited to spend the next half hour with you discussing talent intelligence and how you can utilize it to boost talent management effectiveness at all levels within your organization. Just a few housekeeping notes before we get started. After the presentation, we will have time for a brief question and answer session. If you do have questions, please send them via the question box that appears at the top right of your screen. Also, after the webinar, we will forward a copy of the presentation as well as a copy of a recording to everybody here on the session today. Without further ado, our presenter today is Kevin Sessions, president here at Talent Quest. Over the course of his career, Kevin has been instrumental in the growth of many companies through strategic planning, effective team building, market and competitive analysis, designing and implementing sales and marketing programs, establishing partnerships, and other brand-related development efforts. Prior to joining Talent Quest, Kevin served as Vice President of Business Development and Sales for WebRooms, a provider of web-based housing management software. Kevin really has some great information to share with everyone today, so I'd really like to welcome him and turn the presentation over. So welcome, Kevin. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Dina, and thanks to everyone for attending today's webinar. Looks forward to sharing some thoughts and ideas with you and really spending the next 30 minutes or so discussing this concept of the new world of talent management and how talent intelligence is shaping the way and changing what talent management looks like. But before we get into really the deep details of that, and I'd like to maybe acquaint everybody a little bit with Talent Quest, who we are, the services we provide, and then we can take a deeper look at our application and what we refer to as talent intelligence and how that is changing the world of talent management. So a little bit of background. You're looking at the skyline of the city of Atlanta. This is where we're headquartered, right here in the city of Atlanta. At Talent Quest, our focus is on providing talent management and development solutions for organizations. And we'll talk deeper into that here in just a little bit about what specifically that means and what some of the specific solutions are. Our client base is not only across the U.S. but around the world. We work with all different types of companies and all different sizes of companies as well. And the solutions that we provide lend themselves to be very tailored to each organization and their specific processes and content and workflow. We are very proud of and believe very firmly in not only being able to provide wonderful solutions and products, but you also have to have outstanding support and service around that. And we have a what we refer to as a dedicated client support model, which really puts our clients at the center of the equation and provides really a white glove type of service for those clients. And a dedicated client success representative that gets assigned each one of our clients to really get to know them, their culture, their environment, what they're trying to achieve, their business, etc., which goes a long way in a helpful and beneficial relationship. And it's that combination of really comprehensive and outstanding products and services with this dedicated support model that has really led us to an industry-leading client retention level. So it's a combination that's really critical there. When we think about more specifically, the services that we provide here at Talent Quest, at the heart of our solutions is a comprehensive talent management suite, and it's a suite that really has a number of different modules. But one of the key differentiators, and this will tie into this component of talent intelligence that we're talking about, is we're the only company out there in the talent management world that has a proprietary and validated assessment module as part of our suite. And that assessment module is based on a personality and cognitive-based assessment that gets used very heavily for job profiling and determining fit. But what we've done is really taken the data from that assessment that sometimes gets used and often gets used in a pre-hire and selection mode, but then we've layered that data throughout the rest of our talent management platform in the form of what we refer to as TQ Insights. And we're going to take a deeper dive into that here in a moment. We also have consulting services that really then wrap around the software and address the very processes and activities that are being automated in our suite. And then lastly, we have some very proprietary and cutting edge e-learning and assessment technologies that leverage gaming and gamification and are grounded in interactive 3D, VR, AR types of solutions. So a very, again, comprehensive set of products and services that include a full talent management suite, consulting services that wrap around that, and these e-learning and assessment technologies that that are being used for onboarding, for recruiting, for employee development, et cetera. So our services really kind of help organizations with four kind of main areas in the talent management lifecycle. That's how they select employees, making sure they're getting the right people in the door that fit their culture and fit the right position that they're hiring for. With helping them how they manage their employee base post-hire, with developing those employees once they're there and understanding kind of what the gaps are that may exist, what needs to be developed, where they want to go in the organization, and then ultimately how do we retain those individuals. So this is how we think about the services that we provide falling into these areas of select, manage, develop, and retain. When you think more specifically about the software itself, which is what we're focusing in on today, this is a good visual that kind of, again, shows the different modules in our talent management suite. So you'll see the assessments, which is really a cornerstone piece for providing these TQ insights and this delivering on this concept of talent intelligence, which we're going to dive into. We also have a full talent profile. We have a learning management module, performance management, goal management, a full compensation module, 360 surveys, succession and talent planning modules, this TQ Insights we're going to talk further about, and then reporting and analytics, and then there's also some surveying capabilities that round out the suite itself. Okay, so with that little bit of background on who Talent Quest is and what we provide, let's shift gears and talk about talent intelligence and really what is talent intelligence and how does it impact and how is it helping change kind of the world of talent management. Well, it's the intersection of really talent management, behavioral science, predictive analytics, and what we refer to as prescriptive analytics or prescriptive guidance. Software systems today certainly have to automate processes to make things more efficient. They certainly need to provide a greater level of visibility into the workforce. But that's just not enough. What organizations need, what managers need, are tools that can help managers be better managers, give them the visibility and the insight they need to do their job better day in and day out. And that's kind of what we're talking about here with talent intelligence and these TQ Insights. And we bring it to life. This concept of talent intelligence comes to life through our TQ Insights. So it's grounded in a research-based and scientifically proven model that is through our assessment module. It provides managers with this personalized level of insight and visibility into their team. And that insight comes in the area of awareness of key assets of a manager's direct reports and how they leverage those day in and day out. It also helps guide managers to have more effective management style with each one of their employees through this recommended management approach for each one of these of their direct reports or team members. And then when we think about performance management, it also provides individualized suggestions on how a manager should adjust their feedback to have a more productive and more meaningful performance conversation. And then lastly, when we think about the individual themselves, very targeted development tips for each one of the team members to help them with that self-development effort and journey along the way. All of these TQ Insights are contextually sensitive, so depending upon where you are in your talent management lifecycle, we're going to present these insights in again, the right place at the right time. And we've talked a little bit about this before, but they're both predictive and prescriptive. And the prescriptive component is the key there. So prescribing guidance and prescribing solutions for managers to make better decisions and to be better managers. So how we're using it today, we're using it in the management phase of things and helping managers, as we talked about, understand how they should adjust their management style and how they can leverage different key assets with an individual. It's in performance management, performance development. It's in coaching. It's in our talent planning efforts. So lots of different use cases that we have today that we're going to discuss here momentarily. And additionally, we're continuing to take this and evolve this and further innovate in this area of talent intelligence and TQ Insights. So we're going to take that further into team building and giving managers the ability to understand their team a little bit better as they're putting a team together, and helping with goal achievement, to furthering in the self-development area, and then also with career planning and understanding what are some career paths that might be best suited for me, based on all the factors, based on my desires, my experiences, my personality style, my work history, so on and so forth. So lots of exciting things there with what we can provide through TQ Insights and to deliver on this concept of talent intelligence. So with that, let's actually dive in and take a look at the application itself and some of these real world applications here for talent intelligence. All right, so I'm going to log in here to our demo here and take a look at the application itself and really what we can do here. So we're going to log in as an individual named Carmen Hernandez. And Carmen is both a manager as well as an administrator within the company Verum Analytics, which is a fictitious company here. So our solution is completely cloud-based. We really rely heavily on being able to configure the solution for each one of our clients, and again, around their process and their content and their workflow, all the way down to how we brand it. The system also is built around automatically notifying individuals when they need to do something. So they're proactively notified outside of the system through email, and then when they get those notifications, they can jump right into the application itself. As we go through this, what you're going to notice is, again, visibility to managers is critical and key, making sure they know what information they need to be acting on and how they need to act on that day in and day out. So a couple things to pay attention to that we're seeing here. Again, I'm logged in as Carmen, and Carmen is taken directly to her homepage, which is really the launching point for her, in a very dashboard kind of driven UI that we see here. So first and foremost, on this left side here, we see her task panel. This is telling Carmen all the different tasks that she has that she needs to complete within the organization. And again, this is all going to be dependent on how the system has been configured for you and where you are in your talent management lifecycle. But as we can see, she's got learning related tasks, she's got 360, she's got compensation tasks in here, performance reviews, goal setting, etc. A lot of information right here that she can see front and center. Carmen also has visibility to her calendar to understand kind of where we are in the calendar right now and what she has coming up in the future. And we can see that on the 30th, she's got to approve an appraisal for an individual with the ability to jump right into that. We'll also, if we scroll further down, and again, furthering this concept of talent intelligence and having the proper level of visibility to make good decisions, Carmen has this My Team panel. And this is all about, again, giving her the information she needs to understand what's going on within her team, and then to the ability to take action. So she can see that she's got a team of 14 members, but she can see how many of those have outstanding tasks themselves that they need to take action on, with the ability to click into it and take immediate action. She can see some information about tenure, the average tenure of her team, the average completion of her team members' profiles. These talent profiles are critical to be completed so that they can drive visibility and insight when we think about talent planning and career interest and mobility, those types of things. She has visibility into the average placement of her team on a 9-box of performance versus potential. She can see goal status information. How many goals are completed, how many are past due, and how many are behind schedule, with the ability, again, to click right in, see the details, and take action. And then also this information about the most recent performance journal activity. As we know, more and more organizations are wanting to look at performance management in a more ongoing and informal way, but certainly more frequent. And there's lots of ways to address that. One of the ways we have within our application is through our performance journal to take on-demand types of performance conversations, document them, and be off and running. Lastly, down here, Carmen has visibility into her goals and her goal dashboard, and to be able to understand kind of where she stands with each one of these, both in her development plan as well as in her performance plan. So lots of information right here from the get-go. But I want to draw your attention to one other piece. Again, we're talking about here this concept of talent intelligence and really the combination of these things of traditional talent management, behavioral science, predictive analytics and this prescriptive guidance concept here. So as you'll notice, and something we talked about earlier, one use case for these TQ Insights, which brings this concept of talent intelligence to life, is really helping Carmen as an individual, give her some development tips. So as we can see here, she's got some insights directed to her to ensure that the team has clear objective that everyone understands. Something from her assessment is telling her that maybe she's not doing a great job of communicating very clearly what the goals and objectives are. Now you'll notice also that as I navigate away or come back or refresh my screen, I'm getting another self-directed tip here. In this case, don't let yourself get discouraged by setbacks. Have an attitude of confidence and optimism, and others will likely follow suit. Again, very targeted, very pointed development tips directly to the end user. So very, very helpful from that perspective. Now, so that's one use case. Now let's also be thinking about Carmen here. Again, has a lot of visibility and information to what's going on and to her team. And let's say that she wants to go in. She has a new direct report on her team, and that individual is his name is Rollo Banks. And Carmen wants to go in and really get some insight and understanding into what Rollo's experience is. So she can do that a couple of different ways through the Talent Quest system. One is she can go to her little My Team area. And as we can see, lots of neat information in here with the ability to quickly plot her team on an org chart, quickly plot them on the talent grid of performance versus potential. She can see a bench strength analysis. But now she also sees overview information for each one of her team members. If I want to pin this over to the side as I navigate through the system, I can certainly do so. Another way to get this information, and again, I can click into Rollo's profile here, but maybe also she just wants to jump up into our quick site-wide search here, and now I want to click on Rollo's profile. Just another way to access Rollo, and let's go take a look at his talent profile. And this is going to give Carmen lots of good information in here about Rollo. Again, Rollo is a new employee on her team, and this information will be whether it's an existing employee, been there a while. But she can very readily see all the information and relevant information about Rollo. When he was hired, what his his hire date was, salary information. She can see mobility information that he's put in here about his willingness to relocate, his desired positions, his location preferences. She could see the most recent talent review data that's been provided on him. Again, if we grant that level of visibility, how promotable he is, what are some possible next roles and readiness to move into that role, risk of loss, etc. Now you'll also notice right here in this profile is the next use case here on our TQ Insights, and is really giving Carmen, the manager here for Rollo, visibility and insight into what are Rollo's key assets. So we can see he's a strong problem solver and he's creative. All right, well, let's dig a little bit deeper here. What does this really mean that he's this concept of being a strong problem solver? And more importantly, once I have an understanding of what that means, how do I leverage this asset day in and day out? So because this person is a strong problem solver, they're going to do well working on things that require quick learning and analysis. So again, how do I leverage this day in and day out? Same thing around creativity. What is it, and how do I leverage that to get the most out of this individual in their daily tasks? Now, flipping over and continuing here, one thing to understand their key assets, but also what should my suggested management approach be with this individual? Again, all about bringing visibility to the forefront here, but more importantly, let's provide data and information to help managers be better managers, to make better decisions, to understand how to get the most out of their employees. So here, it's telling me that attention to detail is going to be important when managing Rollo, as well as we saw creativity as a strength. And we all know if we've managed people that are very creative, sometimes being overly creative can be a challenge from a management perspective. So giving me suggested guidance on how I need to adjust my management style and approach to have that be most effective with Rollo. You're going to get this level of targeted insight and information from employee to employee. Very, very valuable, because not all managers are equipped and skilled at reading their team members. Some are, most aren't. So how do we, again, provide tools and the visibility to give managers the information that they really so crave and need to be effective in their roles? Okay, so as we can see, lots of good information here in this profile. Just to round out a few other things that they can see here, employment information, both internal and external positions. We can see job skills, language skills, academic background, associations, achievements, and more. So lots of good information here. Now, Carmen also is going to have instant visibility into understanding what has Rollo done in the past. So as I think about new member of my team, now I understand what their key strengths are, how to leverage that strength. I understand how maybe I should tailor my management style with this individual. Maybe I want to also see, Rollo's been with us a while, is just newly reporting to me. What has his performance been over the course of the years here? So I can see a lot of these trends to see what his performance scores and how those have trended over time, his potential rating, what that's looked like. Down below, I can see his most recent, or not most recent, but all of his performance reviews. Not only what the score was, but access to the actual report itself. Again, helping me get up to speed and having that visibility. Same thing with 360 data, if we choose to allow managers to have visibility to that. Assessment information from our assessment module that's really driving a lot of these TQ insights, as well as compensation data. So lots of valuable information right here at Carmen's fingertips. Okay, so now let's fast forward. We have some very good information in here, and we've seen these TQ insights and this concept of talent intelligence being applied to employee development, being applied to having greater visibility into my team and the details around them and how their strengths and how to leverage that and the management style. Let's fast forward to performance management. And when we think about the key part of performance management, which is having those conversations and giving that feedback. We've all, as I mentioned earlier, lots of conversations out about changes to the performance management process in organizations. And no matter how frequently you do performance management, if you do them once a year, if you do them quarterly, if you do them monthly, or if you've shifted to a non-rating based and just more informal and more frequent performance management process, yes, we can support all of those types of things, but the crux of it is the conversation. And really, this is where managers struggle and often struggle quite mightily is understanding, again, how do I have a good performance conversation? So we can provide training on that, and a lot of organizations do. But again, it's nice to know and understand who I'm dealing with and some of the tendencies there for them as I prepare for this performance conversation. So here Carmen has a task to actually conduct the performance review for another one of her direct reports, Ellen. And as we can see before jumping into this, I have another little TQ insight that's mentioned here through this little light bulb kind of icon. And clicking into this is now going to give me, again, a lot of very valuable and really groundbreaking information here on how I should adjust my communication style in my performance conversation with Ellen. Again, all based off of data and information that's coming from Ellen's personality assessment. Again, very reliable, very valid, scientifically proven assessment here to produce this information. So this is telling me that, what are some of the communication things that I need to be aware of? So Ellen is a very big picture, not a lot of detail type of individual. So what potential communication challenges might I face with her being a big picture? So this is telling me she prefers to be communicated to with a style that gets to the point quickly and the discussion stays at a high level. She's going to get frustrated if I get too deep too quick. So what are my recommended adjustments that I should make? And it's telling me I should consider giving feedback at a fairly high level. And then also there's a very strong likelihood that this person will get lost in the detail. Again, now there's something around ego. So what are the communication challenges I may face with her being kind of a very strong ego-driven individual? And what are the recommended adjustments that I should make to take that into account to have a more productive and meaningful performance conversation? So very, very critical part of the conversation when we think about performance management is knowing how to have that effective conversation and how I need to adjust my conversation and my communication to deal with the different elements that exist and dynamics that exist from each one of my direct reports. Okay, so as we've seen, lots of neat stuff in here, and as we know, and as we think about in the world of talent management, automating processes is critical to increase the efficiency. We certainly need to provide visibility to the organization and to what's going on into the workforce and where things stand in the process, who's doing what, who our high performers are, all very critical. We need to increase the accountability factor and level within organizations. All of those things are being done. But at the same time, now we're taking things to a new level through this concept of talent intelligence and through our TQ Insights in helping prescribe solutions and guidance, this prescriptive analytics to help managers be better managers day in and day out. So with that, I will open some things up to any questions that people may have.
Sure. And if you do have a question, don't forget, go ahead and type it right into that question box up in the panel to the right of your screen. We do have one question, Kevin, so far, and the question asks, how are the insights, the actual tips that are given throughout the software, how were those developed?
Yeah, good question. So a little bit of background there. We talked about, at the beginning, I talked about our services, and we've got our talent management suite, which we're looking at. And I mentioned also the consulting services that we have that really wrap around the product and inform all of these processes. So our history goes back as a consulting organization, and we've got about 14 PhD and IO level psychologists on staff. We have our proprietary assessment, as I mentioned. It really is a personality-based assessment that really gets at and understands the traits and characteristics that each one of these individuals have. So it's through the data that comes from the assessment itself, that's given us that understanding of the individual's personality traits and characteristics, and then through the work of our IO psychologist and a psychologist on staff that really taken that and have translated those into these meaningful insights to help managers. It's something we do from a consultative perspective with clients, and now we've just again taking that consultation and automated them to provide these very, very valuable tips to the masses and to all the managers out there, as opposed to just having to do this in person at higher levels. So that's how we're able to do it, through the proprietary assessment that we have, that again is unmatched in the industry, as well as the subject matter expertise and the level of psychologists that we have on staff to develop this.
Great answer, thank you. Any last questions? Well, then I think that's it for our questions today, but please do not hesitate to reach out to the email address that is on your confirmation email with any questions, any requests for any additional information. We'd love to continue the conversation with everybody today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate the time. Hope this was helpful and informative, and thank you for taking 30 minutes out of your day here and to learn a little bit more. We look forward to continuing the conversation, as Dina said, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon.